In early 1965, while the Beatles were preparing material for their movie Help, John Lennon wrote You've Got to Hide Your Love Away at Kenwood, his home in Weybridge.
Everywhere people stare, each and
At the time, he was trying to write every day, but this song marks something more important than simply filling another space on an album. Lennon later grouped it with I'm a Loser as part of the point when he stopped placing invented characters into standard pop situations and began using songs to express feelings he recognized in himself. The song's Rejected Lover may not have been Lennon in a strictly factual sense, but the embarrassment, the loneliness, and feeling of being watched were personal. And Bob Dylan greatly helped to push Lennon in that direction. John had realized from listening to Bob that a popular songwriter could admit confusion and insecurity instead of always hiding behind polished romance. You've Got to Hide Your Love Away carries that influence everywhere. The acoustic setting, the loose folk rhythm, and even Lennon's vocal phrasing. Producer George Martin reportedly worried that Lennon sounded too much like Dylan, while Paul later described the song as Lennon working firmly in his Dylan phase. Yet Dylan's deepest contribution wasn't a particular chord or melody. What he actually did, in a way, was give Lennon permission to write about the uncomfortable person behind the famous Beatle face. That personal quality has encouraged theories that the song must describe one specific secret. One of the most popular claims connects it to the Beatles' manager Brian Epstein, who was forced to conceal his homosexuality in 1960s Britain. And another suggests Lennon was thinking about the early effort to keep his marriage to Cynthia quiet from female fans. But neither explanation has ever been confirmed. When Lennon discussed the song in detail, he would talk about Bob Dylan, his own emotions, and the change in his songwriting, but he never identified Epstein, Cynthia, or a hidden affair as its subject. The most honest answer is that the emotional situation was real, even though the exact story may have been fictional, altered, or deliberately left vague. The band recorded the song at EMI Studios on February 18, 1965, finishing the main recording during an afternoon session lasting less than just 2 hours. They attempted 9 takes, but only takes 5 and 9 made it to the end. Take 9 became the master. Lennon played acoustic guitar and sang, Paul on bass, George on acoustic guitar, and Starr using restrained drums and percussion. Flautist Johnny Scott then supplied tenor and alto flute parts, giving the ending its unusual floating sound. The Beatles' official anthology history describes Scott's appearance as the first time they had brought in an outside musician specifically to expand their sound, which was a small step toward the increasingly elaborate records they would make over the next few years. And one of the song's strangest lines may have survived because of an accident. According to Lennon's childhood friend Pete Shotton, the original phrase described the narrator as feeling 2 foot tall. While showing the song to McCartney, John mistakenly sang 2 foot small and decided the odd wording was better. And that little slip suits the recording perfectly, because it's slightly awkward and exposed and more human than a carefully corrected lyric would have been. The song was released on Help in August of 1965, and You've Got to Hide Your Love Away sounded like John imitating Bob Dylan on the surface, but underneath it, captured the moment he began allowing Beatles listeners to hear how uncertain John Lennon could really feel.